Good morning to you. It's another beautiful day in the capital city of Abuja. Good morning, and welcome on board. My name is Gesiere, and this is the front page review. Of course, we're checking out so many headlines, and there's a lot of basbos in the news at the moment, and it's really, really interesting to see all that is playing out from Rivers State to, let's even start from the FCT here, where we saw the reps query the minister, House of Reps querying the Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, over allegedly spending 45 million naira for a New Year party and 20 million naira for sanitary pads. She was also alleged to have spent 1.5 million naira on vehicle fuel. Well, we'll check all that in a moment. Remember that she was in the news recently for not having remembered the places where the project that the ministry was championing, some of the states, the pilots, I think about 6 pilot states where that particular women centered project was, being started. So we'll look at all that, and then I'll play you the audio from that particular gist. Then also the federal government, the ECOWAS court has found the federal government guilty of rights violation. From the EndSARS saga, we saw all that played out. We saw the back and forth, the federal government saying they didn't do anything. Nigerians, citizens who were there at the toll gates in Lagos State said the federal government did a lot of things. So there was that back and forth, but now ECOWAS court has found the federal government guilty of rights violations. The applicants Community Court of Justice ECOWAS has ruled that the federal government of Nigeria violated the human rights of Obianuju Ude and 2 others. Obianuju, popularly called DJ Switch. The court found Nigeria in breach of Articles 1, 4, 6, 9, 10, and 11 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, specifically on the right to life, security of person, and freedom of expression, assembly and association, prohibition of torture, the duty of the state to investigate, and the right to effective remedy. The applicants Obianuju Ude, Perpetual Kamsi, and Dabira Olua Adeyinka allege that these violations occurred during the peaceful protest at the Lekki toll gate in Lagos State on October 20th and 2020. The presiding judge, Justice Koroma Sengu, who delivered the judgment, dismissed the allegations that the right to life, as guaranteed under the Article 4 of the ACPHR, is violated. He, however, said that the federal government must pay each applicant 2 million naira as compensation for violations of their security of person, prohibition of torture, and cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatment, rights to freedom of expression, assembly and association, duty to investigate human rights violations, and right to effective remedy. Additionally, the federal government must adhere to its obligations under the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, ACHPR, investigate and prosecute its agents responsible for these violations, and report to the court within 6 months on the measures taken to implement this judgment. This is really, really interesting at this turn of event, because we saw the federal government claiming that nothing happened at the EndSARS protests, but we're seeing the court finding the federal government guilty of these things I just listed, looking at the security of place. I'd like to get Rufai's take on it because it's really interesting seeing all that played out. Moving on to another story. We're seeing in the news, Labour is set to meet with the president today, insisting on 250,000 naira minimum wage. Labour meets with President Tinubu, said it would press for 250,000 naira minimum wage during a planned meeting with the president at the State House, Abuja, today. The head of public affairs of the NLC, Benson Upa, said Labour would insist on its 250k proposal during the session, civil and patriotic. This is what they said. Labour leaders were invited to a meeting with the president in furtherance of Tinubu's promise to hold more consultations with stakeholders on the minimum wage. The proposed meeting is coming about a month after the president said in his Democracy Day speech that an executive bill on the new national minimum wage would soon be sent to the National Assembly for passage. Some people have also talked about the speed with which the federal government dispenses its duties. It's a bit slow, don't you think? Well, go ahead and let me know what you think about this. You remember that you can call me up at any point in time and let me know what you think about it. 0808 312 8618. That is 0808 312 8618. That is the number to call to be a part of the conversation this morning. Looking at 250,000 naira minimum wage, do you think the federal government, well, a lot of people have been saying that's way too high, right? Because the moment you put minimum wage at 250k, OPS, the private sector, what are they going to do? Employers of labor, what are they going to do at this point in time? You know, it's really interesting to see all that is playing out. I wonder what the president will say. We'll watch and see the results of that particular conversation with the president. Meanwhile, in Rivers State, we're having Fubara in the news as well. He's talking about the fact that pro-Wike lawmakers' seats remain vacant and he won't present a budget to that particular Ameole-led state assembly. Remember, yesterday we talked about Ameole giving the governor of the state, Fubara, a 7-day ultimatum to present the budget for 2024 to the state assembly. Well, looking at that, we'll see how it plays out, because he says he's even ready for 2025. But the River State Governor, Sim Fubara, on Wednesday said his administration has started the process of preparing the 2025 budget. The governor also dismissed the threat by the Martin Ameole-led faction of the State House of Assembly that he should present the 2024 budget again, saying that having defected to the APC from the PDP platform on which they got elected, their seats remained vacant. It said women and youth of Eche, Omuma local government areas led by Ogbako Eche, the Apex Sociocultural Organization in Port Vinis, they have their seats legally. It's legally backed and they have their seats. And we're seeing a governor flaunting the judgment of the courts. Once again, we're seeing governors and the federal government. Let me not bring the federal government into this now. Governors, right? We're seeing them flaunting the law so disrespectfully. The Ameole-led faction, led state assembly is right. We're seeing the governor disrespecting as it is. Well, we'll watch and see how all that plays out. We still have in the news the PDP approaching the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, to appeal the Federal High Court judgment that invalidated the primaries that produced Asue Godalo as its gubernatorial candidate in the forthcoming 2024 governorship elections in Edo State. The appellant, PDP, in an appeal hinged on 25 grounds, asked the appellate court to set aside the judgment of the lower court delivered on July 4th, 2024. There's a lot of drama going on in Edo State. We haven't even begun to look at it, but we will today in just a moment. Meanwhile, we have Mieti Allah saying that the federal government should settle herders with grazing reserves. You see this drama that is unfolding. Asking the federal government, Mieti Allah, asking the federal government to settle herders with grazing reserves. Isn't this what we talked about in the first place? Having grazing reserves. MACBAN president, that is the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, has asked the governors to settle pastoralists with grazing reserves designated for herders in the 1960s, who featured the president of MACBAN, Baba Othman Ingelzama, who featured live on television yesterday, believed that the preservation and the protection of grazing reserves, especially those in the 19 northern states, had announced the creation of the new Ministry of Livestock Development, explaining unaware of acute hunger, food insecurity outside the village. They have stopped him from talking and he doesn't have public angry. The crisis is the worst crisis that any nation can encounter. If we add that to the security crisis it will be stuff by plutocrats. He should open his doors and meet those who will tell him the truth. Well, looking at this situation, do you think this particular conversation or this argument made by Senator Ali Ndume, isn't he trying to defend the government, defend the president for having not done anything so far in regards to food scarcity and the food crisis in the country? Because if you look at Governor Fubara, in mouth the sharp abi and talk. So him equally talking in response. I don't know how that will play out, but let's watch and see all the drama. Cho cho cho. This cho cho cho. Moving on to another voice in the news. Drama has unfolded as Reps Committee interviewed the
that there's fund to fund that job. So apparently the money was there. So why were they not paid? Please, I just want the answer straight. Don't waste our time.
By law, letters are not awarded for contracts until funding is available. We all know that as a procurement rule. And he is insisting that these monies were available before those letters were awarded in 2023. But now we also need to juxtapose that with the preference for now to break another great record in Copa America will be Messi. You know, but is funny part of me definitely will side with England because most of our players are in their playing in their league. We have ties. But another part beat them. There will probably England win 1-0 or over penalties.
All right. Mr. Rufai, I just remembered I wanted to touch upon Edo State for just a short minute before you leave. The case going on with...
They will sort out themselves. It's not politician. They will sort out themselves. It's not the first time it's going to happen. You know, after Soludo got nomination from APGA, you know, there was a guy that took a case forward to, what's it called, to a court somewhere in the north, invalidating his nomination, and they went back and forth through the legal process before Soludo got his money back and he won the election. So it's always that they will sort out themselves. As he's talk about delegates, you see, the Federal High Court left to the party. Also, there's going to be a determination of the nature of the delegates. So those are the things up for determination. But they will sort out themselves. You see, I don't like to drink Panadol over their head. They know what they do among themselves. So they are the politicians. I don't have a dog in our space fights.
All right. Well, watch and see how the PDP sorts out this issue in Edo State.
Bless you, have a good one.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yeah.
To you listening, you have the opportunity to call and let me know what you think about any of our headlines. It's been an interesting conversation with Rufai Oseni. I should call him singer. Sometimes he will just break into a song. Let me know what you think about our headlines this morning. 0808 312 8618. You can still send a WhatsApp message to 0700 010 961 961 0700 010 961 961. Okay, this WhatsApp message here says, I beg guess you forget that thing. Ali Ndume just they talk waiting he won't talk. We know it's in day on ground. Okay. All right, I'll watch and see how that plays out. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Yes. What's your name? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Henry and I'm calling from
All right, you're welcome, Henry.
Thank you very much. It's always nice listening to you. Some of the main issues on ground today, start with you. First of all, I think every time I listen to her or I see her on the airways, she tells us how bad things have
somehow, you can easily tell when somebody is not telling the truth with the way she was attacking the senators and even her courage and everything. It's unfortunate, you know. She her attitude is always not good. Then when you talk of intelligence too, I think I saw an interview where she was going to launch a program for girls' child in the C states. And somebody asked her which of the C states. Madam could not even tell us one. It was a massive embarrassment. I was driving that day and listening to it. I was embarrassed. I was alone in the car, but I was embarrassed. You know, I imagine Madam has an office and she sent somebody to go and make a presentation about maybe a product they just developed, and that person went and did what she did that day. How she will look at the person when the person comes back. But that's what she has done to us. This is your idea. This is your initiative. Tell us which ordinary 6 states, we didn't say 36 states. Madam could not come up with one. And she was just blabbing. It's unfortunate. I don't know. I don't know how we got to the point where people like that are the ones representing us and the ones, you know, the ones we can say are the best we have. It's unfortunate. Then Senator Ndume, for me, I think it's just like Mr. Oseni said, it's politics. Maybe somehow he's not getting the access to Aso Rock or to Villa as much as he wants, or he feels he should. And so he's saying some people have fenced the president. You understand? The president himself, in one of his address, told us he knows the suffering, he knows everything. Then suddenly, Mr. Ndume knows more than the president on his behalf, and he's telling us some people, you know, it's either he's not, so he's wanting us to think, just like Mr. Oseni said, that, you know, Mr. President would have done better for us if he knew, which is actually politics. Or somehow he's not getting the access to the president as much as he wants. That is what I feel on that matter. Then for England and Spain, my heart wants England to win, but my head is telling me that Spain is going to win.
Everybody is divided in this particular matter.
I'm an Arsenal fan, and I have a couple of Arsenal players in the England team. But the truth is that Spain looks the better team. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Have a nice day.
All right. Thank you so much, Henry, for your call. Have a good day as well. Really, really interesting conversation that we're having this morning. Know that you can always save our number 0808 312 8618. That is the number to call to be a part of the conversation. I have another WhatsApp message here that says Labour and the federal government sitting with the president setting 250,000 naira minimum wage. Let's watch and see if the president will yield, because his benchmark, he has already pegged it at 62,000 naira. Waiting Labour, they talk about 250k. All right. Well, watch and see. I don't know your name though. Please, when you're sending a message, add your name inside so that I know who is talking and where you're calling from. Hello, good morning.
Lady G, do you know who is calling?
Hey, God, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember.
This is Adeomi Daniel.
Hey, Adeomi, you followed me here. Good morning.
I follow you, here. Good morning, my sister.
Good morning to you.
How is your boss doing?
Everything is fine. Thank you so much.
God bless you. God bless you. We miss you on the other side, but thank God. I thought when you jump finally, you will not remember Nigeria, but I love you for that. You japa, you still come back. God bless you. God bless your family.
Amen.
I love you, my sister. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You take time. You leave Kunle, leave Owigo. You do well. Thank you. That's life. You move on. I greet all the previous caller. I greet your analyst, Mr. Rufai, on the issue of Aline Dume. It's unfortunate that they are playing politics with our life. We don't need to hear it. You remember during the last government, Muhammadu Buhari, something like this also turned up to the extent of his wife saying, Aina Ejaka. Who are the Aina Ejaka? Who is Kaba? See, we don't need to deceive ourselves at this point. Tinubu himself knows that Nigeria is suffering. Nobody caged him. He is Kaba of himself. Who will take Tinubu? You know what is happening to Mr. President? He has too much of ego. Make sure you know when you are in the other side, when the issue of election is coming. Are you with me?
I'm listening to you. You say ego.
I say when you are no, I mean when you are with Ugo them. You know when issue of politics came up, you are not biased. You always say it as it is. You never belong to maybe to support Obi or Tinubu or Atiku or Kwankwaso. You say it as a Nigeria when you people say it generally like as if maybe all is not rosy at all. So like, God bless you for that. You are not biased. Everybody should know. So now Mr. President himself, he has a lot of ego. That's why I will advise him to drop that. Look at what he said after his policy. You recall 4 months ago, he said no matter how, no amount of protest Nigeria have made, he will not repass his policy. What's the meaning of that? Is there anybody help him see that? Your friend that joined Vilali, who is telling us fire from all cylinder now with Mr. Bayo Nanuga. I wish you people can help us bring Mr. Bayo Nanuga. I remember vividly in 2014, he was castigating Jonathan, called Jonathan Carlos president. I had seen on the other station, 95.1, sorry to mention the name, one of your sister stations, Kimberly Nwachukwu, your friend, was the one who brought him. I said, Mr. Onanuga, what makes you condemn Jonathan government because you are a journalist there? Today now you are telling me all this way. Between Jonathan government and Tinubu government, which one is the best now? Mr. Onanuga, say it. Dear God, remember the day you will stand before your God. He was just blabbing, just like what the last caller, my brother said. He was just beating around the bush. He's taking the matter to understand that me, I tried to have my opinion. I said, I agree. I tried to have my opinion, but my opinion is what I want you to speak on. You call Jonathan Color Super. So that's the magazine called this news. It's not faith. When bomb blasts out.
Hello, Adeomi. All right. Our time has finished. Thank you so much, Adeomi, for your call this morning. And thank you, listeners, for your time and attention. I absolutely appreciate you. Coming up next is The Arena. Our time is fast spent on the front page review, but keep it